Vernomatic Productions.
Are you ready?
Live from the Metal Mayhem Studios in Rochester, New York.
We are gold. We are gold.
And heard around the world by metalheads just like you. This is Metal Mayhem ROC.
Heavy metal music.
Your weekly dose of metal music, interviews, album reviews, news, and more. Want to be part of the show? Send us a message through our website, metalmayhemroc.com, or hit us up on Facebook and Twitter. Search Metal Mayhem ROC.
It's getting nice and heavy.
Now, welcome our hosts, John the Vernomatic Verno.
Good evening, everybody. Hope everyone's doing well, staying safe, and of course, staying healthy. Here we are, late September. Halloween's right around the corner, so we're getting things started a little early as we welcome back American power metal icon James Rivera of Helstar. Now, James, Helstar, the dude's totally into that vampire horror kind of stuff. Well, he joins us to celebrate the release of the band's new album, The Devil's Masquerade. It's the first album in over 8 years, and James takes us inside the creative chemistry that him and longtime Helstar guitarist Larry Barragan share. From new lineup changes in the band to industry politics, James covers it all. He also tells us about the new energy within the band as him and, again, Larry Barragan are almost going back to the beginning to make this new album, The Devil's Masquerade. That's coming up in just a second, but a quick reminder, head over to metalmayhemroc.com, sign up for the newsletter. That gets you updates on new podcast episodes, alerts on YouTube interviews, and reminders for our radio show on Monday nights that I produce and host on Metal Devastation Radio. While you're there, get up to the merch page, grab some merch. We got hoodies, hats, t-shirts, phone cases, cool goodies up there. And I'd like to also remind you that we're proud members of the Pantheon Podcast Network, home to top-tier music shows like the Metallica Report, 100 Songs That Define Heavy Metal, and Rockstrap. Check them out at pantheonpodcast.com. If you missed some recent episodes, last week, Ian Hill of Judas Priest. 2 weeks before that, Glenn Hughes of Deep Purple and Sabbath fame. And about a month ago, Sam Spade of the Midnight Devils, that glam rock band from the Midwest, talking about all their projects. And as always, if you dig what we're doing here, do us a favor, subscribe wherever you listen and drop us a review. It helps new listeners discover the show. All right, let's fire it up. James Rivera, Helstar, and Devil's Masquerade. I'm the Vernomatic, and we are Metal Mayhem ROC. Today's guest, he's back to the show. American power metal legend James Rivera. The band Helstar has the brand new one, the CD, The Devil's Masquerade. James, welcome back to Metal Mayhem ROC. How are you, man?
Oh, I'm doing great. And you? Yeah, you look like you're chirpy. I like it. Always good to see happy people in the world today.
Yeah. Metal Mayhem ROC is the brand. We're up here in Rochester, New York. The first time we talked was about 4 years ago. Clad in Black was out. Right off the bat, how did that work out? Did it achieve what the band was looking to do?
Yeah, it did precisely what we needed it to do, was just to buy some time.
Yeah.
In between putting out a full length record. And I think if I remember well, if my brain cells still function the way they're supposed to, when we last talked, I believe I told you that the other 3 new songs would be on the new record as well. So like already 3 songs are in the can. But as time went on, and Larry being the perfectionist that he is, and he's like, dude, everybody's already heard Black Wings of Solitude as a single, and now again on the EP. Dark Incarnation's great, Across the Raging Sea is great, but I don't know, man. I just feel like we should just write a bunch of new songs because we're kind of cheating the fans. That's kind of being like lazy.
Yeah.
Like, let's just take these songs again and put them back out, with the new and remastered. And then I totally agreed. I was like, yeah, you know what? You're right. I don't think that we should do that. So yeah, those songs just remained on the EP, but it did give us time to finally create the full-length new record for the fans. And everything now, when you think about it, I think Dark Incarnation would have fit on this record fine, but really, I think that everything that we've delivered on this record, it all goes together. And then some of those songs might have been the oddball out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree with that. So 8 years since the last one, but let's touch on the last 15 years. 2010, The Glory of Chaos, and then 2014, The Wicked Nest. How did those albums, because they're thrashier, a little heavier, how did those albums contribute to your sound now?
Well, they contributed a lot. But what we did realize is that it's like that Eagles song, you know, Life in the Fast Lane. We're moving a little too fast. Okay. And I think that we subconsciously knew, without trying too hard. I noticed that when Larry was delivering some of the new material for this record here in particular, it started sounding more like the traditional Helstar. And then I think at the end of the day, sometimes we get a little, you know, we're not upset, but we get like, man, well, you know, sometimes we want to try something different, you know, and then you got those weird fans that are like, oh, man, just another burning star. You're like, okay, you want 20 burning stars. All right. Wow. That's going to make you happy. Right. Yeah. And, you know, and certain promoters are that way, but we're like, dude, but we're not 20 years old anymore. We have a different mindset. We got introduced to different styles of music. You know, I'm a big black metal fan. So, I mean, and Larry's he's to the other extreme, you know, he's a Lamb of God guy, you know, I mean, so, but, you know, we know that we have to stick to our roots. We have to stick to what is the traditional Helstar style. And really all it comes down to is just Larry has that gift of writing the stuff that when the minute you hear a riff, it's like, oh, that sounds like a Helstar song for sure. You know? Yeah,
well, it's Larry Barragan and James Rivera. You know.
Yeah, exactly. So and this is what we did on this record. We went back to Barragan Rivera, and so can't go wrong.
Why 8 years? Was it the mix up with the record label? Was it time goes so fast, or why 8 years?
Yeah, well, a lot of it was that the record was done a year and a half ago. So, but Massacre was going through some heavy shit, and I wanted to stay loyal to Thomas because he loves the band. And obviously, look at all the attention we're getting now, you know, like we never got this kind of attention. I mean, hey, the people he joined forces with in Poland, you know, Mystic Promotions, that's what they're called now. So he joined forces with them. You know, they hired a full-on promotional company. Dude, the interviews are just so many that, you know, I'm like telling my boss at work, like, I'll only be working 2 hours today, you know, sorry, but he's like, no, but dude, I'm proud of you. And, you know, that's, you know, do what you got to do. You know, it doesn't matter because I'm on commission. So if I don't make any money, I don't make any money, you know, so it's not no big deal to him. But yeah, it was just, it was a lot of it was that, but a lot of it was too that when we lost Mr. Atwood, half the record he had material for. And when he left, because he left in good graces, we're still friends and none of that animosity, whatever. Just he had his own personal things going on. We had a different vision of what we wanted to do with this record. And then when the wheels are starting to grind instead of run smoothly, you realize, well, maybe this isn't going to work this time around, you know? And he left. And so he said, but you can keep my songs. And then Larry said, nope. You know what happened to Mustaine and Metallica? That should come back, bite you in the ass later.
Yeah.
And so he's going to have to write new material.
Part of the Vampio, the hook of that was the working relationship with Larry and Atwood. Yeah. It was getting, they were working well together on record, I thought at least.
Oh, I mean, Vampiro is one of the masterpieces of all times. I mean, no, he is Helstar material. I mean, there's no doubt about it, you know? I guess, though, that, you know, I had different ideas for melodies versus his because and it wasn't, some of it was my fault because he did ask, let's get together and go over stuff. But there was so much stuff going on that, you know, and then he just started taking control of it and just started writing all the lyrics, all the melodies, even to Larry songs. See, normally Larry sends me those. And so when I started hearing what he was doing, I was like, no. That's not what I had in mind. You know what I mean? I am the singer. I thought I was. I don't know. I can just be a roadie now. What the hell? You know, a little vampire roadie.
So it is my band. You know, I have been here. You know, stay in your lane, bro.
And you know, so to his defense, he just felt like, well, shoot, James isn't really coming to the table with the name just yet. But see, I was taking my time with it because I wanted things to be in a certain way that it's just like, you know, and every time we put out a record, we're always got that fear in the back of our head. It's like, how are we going to top this now? You know? So I want to just start spitting stuff out right away. And if I don't feel it soulfully, that makes a big difference.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, right. So Atwood's out of the band, and it's you and Barragan going into the studio just like you haven't missed a beat. You had to replace Andrew. How did Alan DeLeon? Is that how you pronounce his name?
Alan DeLeon. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. How'd
Alan. Yeah, we actually it's pronounced Alan. And he's like, I'm Alan. I'm like, oh, you're one of those Antonio Banderas little guys, aren't you? You know, yeah.
How did he make the cut? And would he bring to Devil's Masquerade?
Oh shoot, dude. Well, see, here's the thing. This go around, because of the time factor, that we got demos from all over the world, you know, people that wanted to play in the band. And hey, I got this material. People were sending us even material, you know, like, and it's totally down Helstar's alley. But I think that with the frustration that, oh God, here we go again with another guy out. Me and Larry just looked at each other and said, dude, like we say down here in Texas, take the goddamn bull by the horns. Let's do it ourselves like we always done, you know. We'll write the songs together. All you got to do is come do solos. That's it for now. And so we didn't want another writer, so to speak, at the time. We wanted to get it done. And because with the more writers you have, the more opinions you have. And then the more opinions you have, the longer it takes. When me and you, Larry, knew exactly what we wanted every song to sound like, we just said, we're going to write everything. Except for Garrett, for the first time, wrote Carcass for a King, one of the strongest songs on the record. Garrett actually wrote that. And so, you know, it's kind of, it was kind of one of those things where when he came in, he basically just really needed to do solos and stuff. And so that was pretty much it.
The first song, the title track, through show research, it's inspired by Annabelle, a poem.
Annabelle the movie.
Annabelle the movie. Okay.
The possessed doll.
I'm not familiar with it, but that's right up your alley.
Yeah.
Is there a reoccurring theme through the album, or is it just that happens to be that song?
No, you know, there is a reoccurring theme by accident again. So it's almost unfair to say, so is it a concept record? And I was to say, oh no. Then if you were to, the questions you're asking me as I answer them, you'd probably say at the end of the interview, it is a goddamn concept record, you know? Yeah, you know what? It's just that you don't like to be put in that, what's the word I want to say? You don't want to just be put in that situation where you have to answer that question to say, yes, it is kind of a concept record. But the reason why it is, if it's loosely, the only reason why I could say that it's safe to say that it is a concept record is because it's all of it is based on horror movies. So there you go. Different ones. So not all vampires. There's two in there. There was actually 3 in there that relate to vampires. And the rest of it's demonic possession.
Well, how does that, James, all kidding aside, how does that subject matter differ from the history of Helstar?
Exactly. It doesn't. Well, you know what? If you think about it, back in the day, and people find this very odd because they're curious about, the meaning of Helstar. So when I finally tell them the meaning, they really flip out. They're like, whoa, that's another left curve. I had no idea. I said, Helstar means a nuclear bomb. Yeah. And they're like, oh. And so if you think about it, back in the day, a lot of our songs were about biblical revelations. Okay. They were more about the end of the world and World War III and, Armageddon and blah, blah, blah. But then after Nosferatu, we kind of got stuck on another whole realm of writing. And then we still have some songs about the end of the world. Sure, why not? It looks like it's happening every day anyways, you know. You can't help it.
Yeah, you can't help it. What we can't help is we got to take a break. But when we come back, James is going to tell us about how his buddies from Texas got together and helped him out with one of the standout tracks on the new one, The Devil's Masquerade. We'll be right back.
Metal Mayhem ROC.
We're talking with James Rivera, the Helstar, the new one, The Devil's Masquerade, out September 12th. James, down in Texas, there's a lot of talent down there. You rounded up some of your buddies, Jason McMaster, Dangerous Toys, Mike from S.A. Slayer, and our boy, Jeff Vandenberg from Love and War. They came in and did the standout track, I Am the Way. How fun was this? Tell us about it.
Oh, it was an amazing track. And see what it is I got the inspiration, and I've always wanted to do this. And basically what I did was I just took Dio, We're Stars, how he combined all these great musicians, right?
Yeah.
Of course, now he went even further with badass guitar players. So I said, well, we'll simplify it, you know?
Yeah.
But I said, I want the best singers to shine out of Texas. I want to represent Texas, you know, the real Texas metal scene.
Sure.
So that's how they were all picked. But for the last 4 decades, we've all been personal friends. So it was a no-brainer. It wasn't a hard thing to do. All it was a phone call. I told him my vision of what's going on. Dude, I'm in, man. Oh my God, hell yeah. I'm in. And everybody across the board, I'm in, bro. Let's do this thing.
Yeah.
So that's what ended up happening. So the 4 singers from Houston recorded at Larry's, where I record. Mm-hmm. And then the other guys recorded in their cities. Okay,
so it was half in person and half virtual.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So basically I wrote the melody for the whole song, all the words, everything to it. And Larry wrote a lot of the words too. And I just sent them the idea of, well, basically what I did is I recorded my part first. And I said, so that's what I did. I said, I don't care what you do with it in your parts, as long as the cadence and the timing is there. That's all that matters. Oh. And so they all kind of did their own little thing similar to what I did. And it just came out beautiful. You know, it was just great.
Yeah. We had Jeff on the show when he was promoting the Love and War album, and we had Larry on when he was promoting that Spanish. Yeah. There's all good stuff. And Jason McMaster, God, we go way back. We're good friends with him and Dave. And, so we're familiar with that Texas Houston scene. It's good. It's good stuff. Let's see. How does songwriting with you and Larry after all these years? You touched on it a little briefly earlier. Was there a new enthusiasm for doing this one? Seeing that you were back together, you're like, all right, Larry, it's us. You know, share the chemistry doing this Devil's Masquerade session.
Well, yeah, we actually really got real excited. It was kind of it was a double-edged sword when Andrew left. But what it did, instead of discouraging us, it took us back to when we first met, like when he was 19 and I was 22. You know what I mean? Yeah. So yeah, we're like, dude, you know, let's just show them that, you know, yeah, we're going to make this a killer record. So we were very enthused. We were very because we've always felt that too, that sometimes you're at the mercy of another writer and they don't see the vision the same way. And you know, I guess they think that we're just old and washed up and we can't deliver the stuff the way we should. But I think that's what it did, is it reversed everything. And we ended up just getting so excited about every song we started completing, you know. That's the first time that we've done that in a long time where, you know, yeah, I had an idea. And so oh yeah, I got an idea for this one now too. And so I would, on my voice memo on my phone, I'd send him the verse, the pre-chorus, and the chorus. And I go, but that's just the blueprint. And he goes, dude, I already fucking love it. It's great. Well, when we get together, we'll fine tune it, you know, that we'll really make it shine. We'll polish it up, you know. Yeah. And that's how we did this record. So there was a lot of Barragan Rivera enthusiasm, like two little boys again.
Well, I don't know if you're a football fan, but it's like a quarterback and a receiver have played together for years.
Exactly.
You just
how are you going to go wrong?
Yeah, you just look at each other.
That's why the team wins the Super Bowl every year. You know, yeah.
There you go. There you go.
You can't lose. You know, it's like, yeah.
So you have all this enthusiasm. What songs end up being the videos? What ends up being in the live set? Because you're headed over to Europe very soon.
Yeah.
What's the media layout plan?
Well, as far as we want to do another video, I actually want to do a video on I Am the Way. Although the only point that Larry brought up about that, he goes, dude, you know that we're probably never going to have that blessing to play that song live with everybody that was involved, unless we're all at a festival that happens to be going on at that time. Right. Yeah. So, and we almost came close to it this last time. We almost came very close to being able to pull it off, because at Hell's Heroes, there was Crimson Glory. There was San Antonio Slayer, which had Mike and Jason. So you see, and then Rob Lowe was the only guy that would have to been driven down in George Call. They weren't on the festival, but they could have drove from Dallas, and they said, hey, we'll do it. But everybody was there. And it's just that we got put on a position where instead of doing the after show party, we did the pre-party. And everybody wasn't there on the same days. But yeah, that would have been great, you know. I mean, so we could have pulled it off. All right, we need 8 wirelesses. You know, yeah.
You know, that festival's just getting bigger and bigger and bigger, like every year.
Oh, yeah.
Are you guys involved in 26?
He always gets us involved one way or the other, because he's just he's just so fond of, you know, hey, you guys are the ambassadors of metal for Houston. So I mean, people expect it. You know.
So tell us about the tour in Europe, and is anything coming to the States? I know it's tough in the States.
We just finished. Well, we just did that New York thing, which was amazing. Revenge for Armageddon. That was great in Brooklyn. That was a 3-day festival. Mm-hmm. And you know, as far as there's a plan for a run in the West Coast with Cage and Bitch. And so we're looking into that in the new year.
Betsy bitch.
We're going to Europe in November, right? As a matter of fact, 2 days before Thanksgiving, I fly out, and I'm going over there. Actually, wait a minute. I'm leaving the weekend before Thanksgiving, because me and Harry Cronklin are going to be doing a tribute show of Nothing But Metal Classics with his band. So we're going to do a double-headed dragon thing. And I think the promoter's putting together 2 shows at a minimum, maybe 3.
Now you say his band, it's not Jag Panzer, is it?
No, he's got a cover band. He lives in Thessaloniki, Greece now.
Wasn't he in Colorado?
No, he doesn't live in Colorado anymore.
Oh, no.
He met a Greek lady, got married, never came home. Kind of like that scene in Harlem Nights where that pretty black girl talked the guy into this and that. Yeah. And that's how they stole all the money. And then he gets on the phone with his daughter. He goes, hey, put your mama on the phone. Yeah. Hey, I ain't coming home no more. Have a good life.
Yeah, right. Greece is beautiful. So, all right. So Harry's in Greece, and then you two, where are you going to be doing this tour? Over there?
Because Helstar starts the tour in Greece anyways.
Okay.
We're going to do like a couple of smaller club shows. And I think one of them is going to be an unplugged Black Sabbath tribute show, you know, so it's going to just be acoustic and vocals, you know, not a full band. But his band, they play like all the classic metal covers and stuff, Maiden, Priest, you know, so on and so on.
Yeah, all that stuff. What about US dates?
As far as more U.S. dates, we're just waiting to see what's going to happen. Like I said, the West Coast is looking good. We'd love to do a real East Coast Midwest run for sure, because that's where we're always welcomed, you know, because the marketplace for bands at our tier and our genre, there is only certain markets for it. You you don't get in a van and tour all over the whole U.S. like Vicious Rumors, and bless their hearts, but I just don't see how they keep doing that. I'm like, dude, you're 80 years old now. I mean, take it easy, you know?
Yeah.
And you're going to hit, just think about it, Monday through Thursday, and even Thursday, if you're lucky, you know, I mean, sometimes you're going to have it, but Monday through Thursday, you're going to be playing to dismal crowds in the middle of nowhere because there's just nothing in, say, Roswell, New Mexico, you know? I mean, you know, there's only certain markets for this genre of music.
Yeah.
And that's why we hate to say the word, but we do the weekend warrior thing. We just go to this market for a weekend, do 4 shows, come home, you know, call it a day.
Well,
but we're not going to tour all across America now, unless we got lucky and, hey, Testament wants to take Helstar out on the road. Well, yeah, we're there.
Of course.
Yeah. But that's like winning the lottery. So
let's pivot a little bit and talk about some of these other side projects he did. A couple of years ago, the New Wave Gone Metal album. How'd that go over? And a huge leap on that, James. It was those were the bands. I'm 58, and those bands I wouldn't give the time of day for 40 years ago. But how'd it go over? And is there a demand for a second one?
There is, actually. So when we first put it out, it went over very well because you're right. Some people wouldn't give those bands the time of day back in the day. Well, we made fun of them.
Yeah.
I mean,
listeners, we're talking about
let me tell you the funny story.
Depeche Mode and Tears for Fears and
Psychedelic Furs, The Cure, all that stuff, right? So now here we are, 3 decades later, and now that's one of my favorite musics that I listen to because it's dark. It's just not metal, you see? And so it took me this long to figure out. So here's how it all started. So one day, me and Larry went to this place called Astro World, 6 Flags over Texas, the amusement park. And in the summertime, they had free concerts. And it was always, Wham or Duran Duran and those big name arena new wave bands, right?
Yep.
Tears for Fears, you name it, And then one Saturday morning, he called me. He said, "Hey, dude, I got 2 tickets to." So if you bought a ticket to Astroworld to go and do all the rides, you got into the concert for free. It was free concert. So it's called the free concert series. Mm-hmm. And so he called me Saturday morning and I said, "Oh, really?" I go, "Yeah, well, who's playing today?" He goes, those guys, people say, why should it be? I go, Depeche Mode. He goes, "I think it's just Depeche Mode." Whatever, yeah. Damn queers. Yeah. Yeah, well, let's go and make fun of everybody. The hell with it. He goes, "Yeah, dude, you get the acid, I got the tickets." So we each drop a hit of acid. We go to this amusement park. We're getting on all the roller coasters, making fun of all the little nerdy new wave guys. Like, "Hey, that guy's head fell off." Wow. Yeah. And we're both wearing a denim cutoff jacket, and we both have that big patch that says "Venom, welcome to hell" on the back of it. So there's all these families and kids looking at us like, "Whoa, these evil guys." Yeah, it says, "All right, well, let's go check out this band. Let's go have a field day." Well, let me tell you what happened. Because once that acid hit in, we got into the damn concert area. And then Larry starts looking at me all paranoid. He's like, "Dude." I'm like, "What?" He goes, "These people look more dead than we do." Because they're all in black and they're all gothed out.
I was going to say gothed out.
We kind of got the creeps. Like, well, man, yeah. So, no, well, there's nobody to make fun of anymore. No, I think we should leave. So, but the band started. And when the band started, they opened up with Black Celebration, which is the album they were touring on, which is my favorite record of all time. And it's the opening track on the Metal Wave project that we redid. Mm-hmm. When they opened up, dude, the fog, the lighting, they had a big screen in front of them and all you could see was the silhouettes. And me and Larry just looked at each other like, "Oh my God," ran down to the front. "Yeah, this is metal," Dave Gahan looks at us like, "Who are these knuckleheads?" Because we're like,
Yeah. You brought that metal enthusiasm to that scene.
Yeah.
And the tabs didn't hurt.
Long story short, that's how when we were bored during COVID, and I said, hey, I've never really heard a metal band take these songs and read. He says, dude, you might be onto something. So he got busy right away and started recomposing the songs metal. And that's how it happened.
You mentioned that you've grown fond of the black metal genre. Any plans, any idea of maybe getting involved with a band doing some kind of black metal project?
Strictly black metal?
Yeah,
I've thought about it. I kind of, I've tossed the idea around. There was a band that I did a project with that was about 70% black metal. They were called Malachi's Reign.
Okay.
And they were out of Jersey. And as a matter of fact, Jack Frost produced that demo. And it had 6 songs on it. But a lot of it was, I got to use my Danny Filth voice and all that stuff throughout most of it. But the unique thing about it was that then you have the James Rivera voice come in. And then you have the real high notes come in.
The high stuff,
so it made it very interesting, yeah. Which is, if I got a project in a black metal band, I would insist that I have to throw in that traditional high note, Rivera high note, and I have to use a little bit of my voice, somewhere along the line.
Yeah. Listen, do you think somewhere along the line with all that record label mix up within the last 10 years, Helstar was overlooked or held back by industry politics?
Oh, of course we were. I mean, we're, and I'm only going by what, a lot of people tell me.
Yeah.
And of course, once they tell you this, it sends you home and you're like, God damn it, I'm going to have another drink. They're right. And then you get pissed off at the world and you're like, you guys are one of the most underrated bands. You should be like already the new Iron Maiden. I don't see what happened. And when they start telling you that stuff, for a minute you think, oh, you're just drunk. But then no, they're being honest and saying, man, you guys could have been the next Judas Priest. Easy. What happened? Then you have to go through that sob story of screwed up manager, screwed up lawyers. Yeah, this and that. We were on that boat with Anthrax and Megadeth and Metallica, and we got thrown off without a damn canoe. So once you screw up in the business because of the other people running your lives, then you're blackballed for a while. And they're like, oh, because they look at you as like, well, I mean, how could those guys be so stupid? And then they don't care because they're the big shots. You know, you got the people at Capitol Records going, yeah, but they stuck to that stupid manager. How could they be so stupid? No, I don't want to sign those guys. And then you're just, you become a piece of shit in the industry, Well,
hopefully Devil's Masquerade will, I don't want to say you have a second act, but it is 2025 going on 26. Maybe it'll get you up there. And you've already even said that the press is through the roof, the promotion. It's something that you've never seen. And there's a whole new market, James. These kids.
Oh, yeah.
These kids.
Exactly. And I think that really this is going to push us over to that other tier. And I think that if we play our cards right, we stay out on the road as much as possible to keep forcing it down people. Larry's going to retire next year. And once he retires, that's it. He says, book, 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 book. So that's the thing that holds us back is the day jobs, because everybody has they own a home, you got a car note, you got all these things that you need to and sure, we'd love to go out on the road for 8 weeks, but the money's got to be there too, because I need to come home to a home. I don't want to come home and there's an eviction notice.
And listeners, let's not forget the new one's coming out with exciting vinyl and digipack, and there's a you tell us about the book. There's a book accompanying all this. Well, tell us about that.
I think what happened is, and there's some truth to this, that CDs are sort of becoming extinct in a way. I guess that's sort of it's sort of becoming a dinosaur. But the reason why is that, dude, you buy any car that was made after 2019, they don't have a CD player in it anymore.
Yeah.
I have a brand new car, doesn't have a CD player in it. So I'm like, where's this thing going in? I thought maybe it was just my glasses were all fogged up. And I'm like, oh, there's no damn CD. I go, I don't want this car anymore. Wow, you already signed the papers, So, and I'm like, well, dude, that sucks, So what they did to make CDs more interesting now is they call them media books. So you could give it to your 5-year-old kid and everything is like a book now. It's a page. So it's like a miniature comic book with a CD. So it's more educational in a way,
Yeah.
Like, here, this is what I got you for Christmas. Oh, and then you can read the lyrics to the first song, and then there's something that related to that first song. So there's visual, there's lyrical content, and then you have the song playing. And I think that's what they did, and they seem to be working. They look really nice. I was very surprised.
I have a few of those. I still buy physical.
Yeah.
You have to. And the tough thing with that is how I'm up here in Rochester. We'll go to the House of Guitars or Record Archive.
Yeah.
I'll buy it. But then, James, I burn it. It's in my hard drive and it goes on the shelf. And
yeah, because you can't listen to it.
well, no, I have 2 vehicles and I do have disc players in my vehicle.
Okay. See, I don't. Well, as cheesy as it sounds, like, Larry's like, if it bothers you that much, dude, go to Walgreens, get one of those old Walkmans, use an auxiliary, and now you got a CD player.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, yeah, but the minute that car starts hitting bumps, that thing's going to creep.
Yeah. It's a struggle. Well, James, this has been great. The album, The Devil's Masquerade, it's when you're listening to this, it'll be out on Massacre Records. Anything else you'd like to promote?
Yeah, I just wanted to say, hey, thanks for everybody that stayed loyal and followed us and seen us for 4 decades and, have always been there for us. And we want to let you guys know when we come to Europe, especially, that we're going to give you the best show possible, doing 4 songs off the new record, and then 1 song from each album, because it's the set list is getting out of control now.
Yeah.
But we want to promote the new record. And we've always been against that, been thrown up against that fence where, well, what are we going to do off the new record? Well, all they're going to want to hear is Burning Star, Toward the Unknown, Remnants of War. And then you're like, so we can only do 2 songs off the new record? Then what are we doing a new record for? It's like, well, that's just the way the fans are. And that's true. Or you get these festivals that are like, hey, we want Helstar on the festival. Okay. But we want you to do the first album from beginning to end. And then you're like, well, we got a new album out, who want to promote that? Like, nobody cares about it.
I've heard that. I've heard that many times. And it's like, you're an artist and you want to play that. All right. So all this is out there again, The Devil's Disguise. Search Helstar.metal on Facebook, Instagram, Helstar Official. Just Google, and listeners, all these links will be up on the show notes. Dude, yes. Thank you, man. Thank you. Appreciate the
always
time.
A pleasure to talk to you, man. You're amazing. And I want to thank you for everything you do to promote us and help us stay out there, If it wasn't for you people, we wouldn't be doing this. It's like, I think I told you that before, Well,
you could see over my left shoulder, the Metal Mayhem ROC live radio show on Monday nights on Metal Devastation Radio. And we were spinning both tracks that I got last night from your management.
What did you get?
The Devil's Disguise, and then the second one.
Stygian Miracles?
Yeah.
Okay.
And
wow, awesome.
Yeah, I buttoned it up into a little, the third, it's a 3-hour show, and the third hour, it's the heavy stuff. We call it the third leg, and it's all the heavy shit.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's the evil 6 of the 3 6s.
Okay. Yeah. Well, the third leg.
Yeah. The first 2 6s, they're okay, but the third 6 is the one. Yeah, that's where you're going to hear the real evil stuff. Yeah.
We programmed the show. It's like a 3-hour party. The first hour, it's like, you remember those old keg parties? You show up and you're saying hello to everyone. You get your first beer. Well, by the end of the party, everyone's in the bathroom or they're in the car.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That's the third leg. So
that's it. Awesome,
it's a big
man.
party.
Awesome. You know what else is pretty odd is that one of the favorite things that I love about the song Devil's Masquerade is something to share with the fans. So when Larry wrote the lyrics, he wrote that whole song, everything. That's all Barragan, The Devil's Masquerade.
Okay.
But in the last verse, there's the third line says it's 3 a.m. Your heart starts to race. And I wondered what the heck that meant. And he goes, dude, you know what? Everybody thinks that the most evil witching hour is midnight. It's not. It's 3 a.m. That's when the devil comes out. I said, oh, I didn't know that. He goes, yes. I said, oh, wow. So I researched it, and sure enough, if you want to go mess around at the cemetery and play with some evil shit, then go at 3 a.m. I guarantee you something's going to happen.
That's great shit, man.
All right, man.
All right, James, be good, buddy. See ya.
You bet. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Metal for life.
Thank you for listening to Metal Mayhem ROC. Check out our website at metalmayhemroc.com for information on podcasts, archives, links to all our live radio shows, and all sorts of info. Please like, follow, and share with everyone, even your non-metal friends. And always remember to keep it heavy.